Hey everyone. Hey, 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 hey. Welcome back to NACL Radio. It's 4 o'clock. It's Friday the 29th of May. Freitag der 29. Mai 2020. 2020. It's the year of the pandemic. So that's also one of the reasons why we're here, because we wanted to find a way to tackle the situation in the sense of communication, because it's the most important bit to communicate values, to tell everyone out there what it's all about, how you can support each other, how you can support small local businesses. And that's why we started our little platform radio called NACL Radio. It's a community platform run completely commercially free. We're doing this out of passion for the joy of music, for the joy of food. And joy of food means we're inviting here by our second customer, no, we're not selling anything. We're inviting our second guest today, who is Lorenzo from Manin Pasta. Please grab the mic and welcome.
Ciao ragazzi, ciao Phil, thank you for the invitation. And I'm really, really happy to be part of your project, your live.
Sweet, thank you so much. So I invited you guys because, we're doing a little bit of research here and there to find out what the different businesses are about and also what they've basically been going through. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, first of all, is because you definitely added to the city a big part, which is Italian-style food, specifically Sicilian food, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Can you mention briefly, you're from Sicily? Can you just tell us a little bit where you're coming from?
A little bit of stories. Like I'm from Apulia, and my partners are from Sicily. So we opened the Manin Pasta, and actually the recipe are based on traditional Sicily recipe.
All right. And you did come to Berlin because of the food, or did you come because of music?
No.
Because you are a sound engineer, you used to be, or still are?
Yes, exactly. I came in Berlin because of music. I studied music engineering in Milan, 5 years. Okay. And then after like couple of years of working around in the music industry, I came in Berlin, of course, for the music. And then gastronomy was something like beside the music.
And I remember a couple of times actually, Mr. Buran, who played yesterday, Peter, he mentioned that you always played in clubs like Tresor. Did you play there? Or
yes,
did you work there?
I played in Tresor. We had some collaboration with the Tresor on Wednesday because I was like booking manager for my own agency that I opened in Berlin.
So I was like, cool.
Yes,
I get
fancy.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Nervous.
So yeah, I was managing artists. And we were organizing party in Tresor on Wednesday.
All right.
So I had chance also to play times in Tresor, which was super cool, super nice. And then my last gig was exactly before to open Manin Pasta.
All right.
That's what the sign always say, okay, now it's changing everything, and then I stopped for a while. Now I'm not playing anymore, but I'm like collecting music, because it's of course, my passion.
Still?
Yeah, of course.
So you do see yourself playing in a club one day again?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe this will be an opportunity for you to play again.
Why not?
Cool. And the whole bit of sound engineering, was it also a reason, with full honesty, was it a reason for you to stop working in the music industry because it's a hard kind of like industry to work in and you were a bit fed up, or?
Yes, exactly. So it's like a really difficult industry. It's always struggling because it's also difficult to find the right way to work in music. I was like booking manager. That means that you earn money on top of artists. So you sell artists, you get money on top of it. So doing this job, if you manage underground artists, you have like always your fee always super low. So living with this kind of work with this money is always difficult. So that's why I was always like working in a bar, working in gastronomy to pay the rent and going on with my passion, with my job.
All right.
Because also means traveling. Means because I had artists in Amsterdam and London, so I was traveling all the time from festivals. And because I was managing underground artists, that means the promoter was not paying me. So I was paying myself to travel and going around.
Okay, I mean that also adds up to the whole topic, and the thing of the reason for this station for us to run is that of course we're also talking about music because we're playing music, and the cultural scene is also hectically struggling in Berlin right now,
Yeah.
because obviously clubs are unfortunately closed down. We don't know when they're going to be back, and musicians don't get to play, DJs don't get to play. That's why it's also again a big platform for us to reach out to all of you guys out there listening and tuning in, because yeah, you can't mention those people often enough, because a lot of people also didn't get any subsidies, nor did they get any support regarding money and just being able to survive. So when it comes to the hospitality industry, it also goes along with the cultural aspect, because again, every one of us is kind of connected to the cultural industry here in Berlin as well, either being a dancer on the dance floor yourself, visiting those places, or maybe even being a DJ yourself or a booker, whatever. So I'm really glad to have you here today, because you kind of represent those both sides, even though you're now focusing on Money and Pasta.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Yeah, I have to say that also Money in Pasta is like part of music too, because I have like a lot of friends, a lot of customers that are involved in the music industry, like artists or I don't know, owners of clubs. They're coming to Money in Pasta to have lunch or dinner. So yeah, it's still present.
So there you go, people. It's the people that not only make music and create culture that are defining the city, but the other way around, they're living off of the hospitality and gastronomy industry, including Money and Pasta. Without them, we wouldn't exist, and they wouldn't exist without us.
Exactly.
Super cool. So we, of course, had to drink something together, and that is a Prosecco.
Prosecco, of course, like Italian way.
And Lorenzo also just had his lunch at the restaurant,
Yes,
which we're going to talk
exactly.
about after a track or two. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
All right, people. As you can hear, that's the vibe that Lorenzo is having in a good way. I assume you don't listen to that music in the shop, hey?
No, actually not. We try to play differently, like different music. We try to do like more like lunch, like with hip hop or like more housey,
Hmm.
and then evening a little bit more deep.
Okay. Do you have someone who's taking care of the playlists? Is it like
Myself, of course.
Of course.
Of course, I'm doing like a playlist every 2-3 weeks.
Mhm.
I sit like in an office like on Monday. That's
Mhm.
like a little bit quiet,
Mhm.
and I prepare all the playlists.
Nice. Just like a simple like Spotify
Yeah,
playlist or
yeah,
something.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool. To also talk directly about Money and Pasta as a business, you guys, you started in 2015 in the market hall, as you mentioned before.
Yes, exactly.
And in the market hall, you started actually as a production site for pasta, right?
Yes, right.
And then at some point, you also started doing it as a proper like pasta restaurant, also inside the market hall.
Yes.
Was the idea of running a restaurant always the idea also in the beginning, or?
Well, Angelo and Gioacchino, that are my partner in the business, they come from gastronomy before to produce pasta, right? So they always work in the gastronomy. So that was already part of it. Of course, in the beginning, we were like setting up a production, like a manufactory. And beside that, of course, people want also to try. And that's also nice to people that sit and try your pasta, your product. So that was like a really easy way to gather it.
All right. And then crazily in 2020, this particular weird year that we're in, you started a restaurant awesomely, which is not that far from here. It's also in Kreuzberg. It's on Reichenberger Straße.
Yeah, exactly.
And you probably been working on the restaurant for quite a while and then wanted to open it and did open it in February, at the end of February. And then all of a sudden, everything had to stop. So how did that go for
Exactly.
you
The
guys?
funny story that we worked in this project for almost 1 year, and also, as you can know, construction takes always time because there always a problem. Then after 1 year, finally, the restaurant is ready. We open the door 1 month, and then we shut down for the COVID. That was like a bit sad, but in the end, what you can do? You just need to take it and then go on. Otherwise,
I mean, it's awesome to hear, Lorenzo, right away that you're actually saying it as like, sure, like respecting it and having had to acknowledge it and just like take for what it is. While still talking to a lot of people in the city, of course, at some point people were just shocked and in panic mode.
yeah, for sure.
Did you ever have a moment where you guys really were like?
Of course, in the beginning, like the first week was like completely chaos because it was like the restaurant was closed. Mark Tale was not running. We had to send all the staff home. So it was like, and now what we do? What is our future? What is going on in a couple of weeks? Maybe we cannot pay the rent. We don't have money to pay all the staff. Also dealing with language that also is not us, like German. Filling all the papers was like hard weeks, I would say, yeah.
May I ask, did you also were able to get some subsidies or?
Yes, we are able to get some help from the state that they helped us to go on to pay some bills, some rents, and
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So the restaurant started and then having to had shut down. How did you? I mean, I remember seeing that you did a lot of takeaway. Still do takeaway?
Yes, we did. Like we converted the restaurant in a small market. So we were selling vegetables and all our sauce that we produce in Martalle. Plus, we also organize a takeaway service for like lunch or evening.
Nice.
Yeah.
And may I ask, did that work out? And like, I mean, of course, everything was just not working out in a way. But
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It wasn't anything working out, but in the end, the first days were like a bit of weird because you have to change everything and start from zero. But then in the end was like people coming and happy to find also vegetables in the restaurant.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And also, that's actually really awesome that you, over time, and not only for the pandemic, but before already, besides producing your own pasta, which, by the way, is also organically certified, which is
exactly.
pretty cool, you also started producing your own sauces,
Yes.
which is awesome, and led also to actually you guys selling a complete perfect pasta kit, right?
Yeah, exactly. We produce first like a ready-made sauce since we opened the Man in Pasta, but like after the pandemic, we started to produce more. So we had the idea to get also the organic logo, the bio certification for the sauce, and also for vegan. So and we are like trying to sell also in supermarkets, and so it's like a new business going on.
All right, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
So give us a shout. Where do we find your sauces and pasta, and which supermarkets?
Well, at the moment we are only producing, and we are like going to sell it and promoting it. So they are like not at the moment. You don't find at the moment in the supermarket, but
Right.
soon.
May I ask, because I was always like curious and interested in the fact that you produce pasta fresh, which means when I would come over to your counter and get some pasta, it's obviously fresh pasta, right?
Yeah, right.
So what is with the like drying process? Do you dry it yourself, or is it happening by itself automatically?
No, actually,
or?
we don't do dry at all. Okay. So we only produce fresh pasta, because to dry pasta you need like a proper fridge. Then you put pasta for 24 hours, 12 hours. Where pasta gets dry, take all the water out. That's the process. You produce only with water and flour, without eggs. We produce also with eggs. That's like a difference.
All right, so pasta, you can't just put it on like, I mean, when I did make pasta myself at home, I always had these like plastic racks where you then put the pasta, the spaghetti or something, and would just let it dry in the room, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way with your pasta?
No, at the moment, no, it doesn't work like this, because it takes like more time, and you risk that gets like mushrooms and stuff. So, because of the humidity of pasta.
All right, it's a bit dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, let's play another tune before we keep on going talking about the different varieties of pasta,
Yes.
because I think there's also so much to learn. For me personally, whenever I buy some pasta of you or in the supermarket, I see all these fancy names and of course the shapes and forms and everything.
Yeah, thousands.
Thousands? All right, well, we'll start with a couple of hundreds and we'll share it with you. NACL Radio. NACL Radio. We're still with Lorenzo from Mani and Pasta, and whilst listening to music, we still find new topics to talk about, which I'm really happy because that's the reason why we're here. Lorenzo, we talked about pasta and its history. You mentioned that you got a little fancy machine that you produce the pasta with, because obviously the pasta isn't being produced by hand all the time. Instead, you make big bulks of dough and then put it through a machine. And then you mentioned that you basically have like a how to call it, like stamping form or something, where the different sorts of pasta come out. And then you mentioned there's a huge book and that we're speaking about thousands of different varieties of pasta.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the there are different shape of pasta, and they are like divided with like bronze or like Teflon dies. You can have like, I don't know, different shape of fusilli, different shape of spaghetti, and macaroni also. So it's like a really huge word behind the pasta.
All right. Can you, I mean, you said there are thousands. Obviously, there's kind of like a history about every single sort of pasta. And you also mentioned in the talk before that every pasta is also meant for a specific dish. Can you name us 3 examples of a pasta variety, like a form, shape that goes along with?
Okay, let's say we have like spaghetti for carbonara, for example. We have like macaroni for tomato sauce arrabbiata. We can have also pappardelle with like fungi. Or I don't know. You can also use fusilli with pesto. Like in south of Italy, for example, my mom was cooking a lot. Like fusilli was like a typical recipe, fusilli with pesto of basil.
Okay, and are those shapes, specific shapes of pasta, also meant or have a reason because they, I don't know, hold the sauce better? Suppose,
Well,
for example,
imagine
the fusilli, they're like the spiral,
exactly,
right?
and it gets all the sauce inside. And also macaroni, no? If you have like tomato sauce, like your plate is full of tomato. So the macaroni that has this big hole inside, so gets all the sauce in it.
Okay.
So
I just remember as a kid, obviously that was the fun pasta because that would be the pasta that you use as a straw.
Exactly.
Just like suck up all the tomato sauce.
Well, I saw like now, no, because all the business are like plastic free, and I saw some like before I saw in Copenhagen. Now also in Berlin, there are a few restaurants and bars that they use like shape of pasta as a straw, which I find really, really cool, actually.
It's super funny. I remember that it's actually at Gazzo Pizza.
Yeah.
I remember that's the first time that I saw it, that they actually use the pasta for a straw.
Yeah.
Cool. Something that is, of course, having to point out and wanting to also talk about really quick is Italy, unfortunately, got struck pretty hard, specifically in the north with the pandemic. You guys are from the south of Italy and from Apulia, where you said that it was, of course, also got hit, but not as hard, right?
Well, actually, if you see the situation that we had in Italy, it's super weird because we had like a super complicated situation in north of Italy. It was dramatic, and the south of Italy was like difficult, but not so dramatic like in north of Italy, which is like really weird because if you see like you get the virus because you are connected with people, no? In south of Italy, we live all together, right? And in north of Italy, not. So it's more North Europe. So people are like, distancing by themselves.
Okay.
That's actually super interesting, right? So it's
absolutely. We were talking like in friends of groups of ours. We actually were talking like, yeah, of course, Italy unfortunately got struck quite hard because it's all about the kissing on the cheeks.
Yeah,
it's all about the different generations under one roof.
We're talking about north of Italy. So north of Italy is really like North Europe, where like you don't have this kind of contact with people, with your familiar. You don't see like your parents so often like in south of Italy. So I don't know. It's really.
I was also really saddened by the stories that Italy is also really, if you want to say so, defined by its generations, which means that actually there is a strong, big, old generation living, and unfortunately now because of the pandemic, of course, a lot of them unfortunately died.
Totally agree.
Which is really, really sad and shocking, and specifically also to relate that to food. A lot of old, if you want to say so, artisanal kind of approaches to either pasta or sauces or dishes or even restaurants are kind of like losing their core generation of historical recipes, right?
Yeah, right. But actually, if you see, all the young generation is moving outside Italy. They're moving, they're going away. That's also why the reason that we have like a really old city, really old country. And now, of course, with like this pandemic, with this virus, we have like a really difficult situation to manage.
I asked you in between whilst playing music, and I want to ask you again because I think it's a super interesting topic in general. The reason for people to move away from their country, and I mean, we are super happy to have you here in Berlin, and it's always interesting to see and hear the reasons why people came to Berlin. In that case, for you, it was the music, but also I was wondering, would you say you left Italy because you kind of like had enough of the country, or?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't find myself anymore there, So I was like trying to survive or trying to find myself. and it didn't happen. So thanks for the music. Had like no this energy, or the music pushed me to go away. No, but sometimes it's difficult because also you leave your country. It's not all the time super easy to do. No, well, and also because we are from the south of Italy, so we live in different ways. So it's always difficult to leave your family, your parents, your friends. Maybe for you it's like also north of Europe is different. You know, you move, it's fine. You move out when you're 18, it's fine. South of Italy is a bit different.
So you do have a bit of a bleeding heart because your family is still there and you do miss them?
Well, now like I live outside Italy since 10 years, so now it's part of me.
You got used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So do you
it's
go
fine.
regularly still?
Yes, I go every 6 or once a year to see my family, to enjoy the nice weather, nice food, summer.
Do you, I mean, that's also a big part always for people that moved here. Do you kind of like struggle with the weather here?
I have to say, in the beginning I was enjoying so much the winter. No, I was like, wow, winter, I love it so much. Now when it starts to be like summer, I won't see. No, I want to go to the beach, I want to enjoy the sun. Now, yes, now after 10 years, yes.
Okay, I think that's a perfect way to play our next song that you chose for your playlist, because it does reflect the roughness of Germany.
Exactly.
So let's hit it.
Angst. Angst. Angst.
we're back live. On NACL Radio. Sorry, I love the reverb. I can't stop using it. Lorenzo's still with us. We just nicely got a top-up from Dane, a.k.a. Halbert, with the support and supplies of Cafe 9. Thanks for that. Lorenzo, it's really nice to talk to you because obviously you have your experiences and you have your take on the situation. Something that we also just talked about and mentioned is how we deal with the situation when it comes to the public spaces that we're running. So we're a cafe here and at Cafe 9, you are a restaurant takeaway situation at yours. And the weirdest thing, I guess, for all of us is that it still feels like not being absolutely certain how to do this. Specifically because all of the visitors and guests, as awesome as it is that they come, it feels like they don't know what they're doing and they don't really give a crap.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that we are open again since couple of weeks. So we have again tables outside, a table inside. Customer has to wear mask when they get in and when they go to the toilet. No one is wearing mask. Or they have to follow some rules that they don't, or they cannot eat like all together in our tables. They don't do that. So in some way, it's like a bit scary, I have to say, from my point of view. But also, if I see things in the business correlated, maybe it's also okay that people are not so scared because people, they go out. So they come to your coffee shop or they come to my restaurant. And I don't know, it's like a tricky.
It's super tricky, and no matter who I talk to, everyone is super happy that people are coming, that people are moving around, and that are visiting, and obviously spending their money on the places. But I think that the weirdest and unfortunate moments of them all is that it feels like no one really knows what to do properly, and I guess the biggest also worry that we always have is how do we make sure that people understand what we're doing, like that they also stick to the rules without being mean, because that's also the big worry that we have, is to basically be mean towards a customer, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a super mean. We had like a feedback couple of days ago, because imagine working like a service, working with mask the whole day, that I find super stressful. Imagine I don't go out anymore like shopping because I get super stressed about the mask. Mm-hmm. And of course there is some misunderstanding with the customers. There are some stress moments, So yeah, I think it's also like super weird to work in this kind of situation.
So hereby we want to also talk to you out there listening, tuning in, now or later or whenever. Please be aware that all of the businesses that are open right now to make you happy and that you can make happy, please be aware that we're also under with the situation that we have to be super careful, because worst case scenario is that a place gets shut down because too many people are gathering, because it's actually the visitors who are not abiding the rules instead of Yeah, exactly. That's also needs to be like some kind of understanding between, of course, us, but also from the customers. So they need to understand the situation that we are working in these like super strict rules that we are not used to, because we are gastronomy. We like contact. We are like talking with customers. We like to have an interaction because we are selling also. So all this part is kind of blocked at the moment. So people that need to services need to change, on the way to work. So it's a bit challenge. Do you, when it all started, did you, you shut down the restaurant as well as you had to shut down for a while the Mani Pasta here in the market hall. Did you get or had to properly stay at home for a while? Did you do that? We did for a week. Uh-huh. But after a week, we started to open again Mani Pasta, and we started, me, Angelo, and Gioacchino, to work again. Okay. All of three, we started again together, like we opened it before. So we started to produce again pasta. We opened an online shop, so we were producing more. So keeping us busy, yeah. That's good to hear. Funnily, as you probably all heard out there, that in the beginning of the pandemic, people started to go crazy to buy stuff. Yeah, and specifically one of the goods that was always sold out, and I experienced that as well, was actually pasta. and the pasta was just sold out in the shops, which was absurd. Did you also feel that this actually then helped you as a
pasta and flowers too? Flowers also sold out like crazy. Yes, I have to say, we started to produce more pasta in a couple of like last month actually, because people were coming and buying pasta like crazy. Like, I don't know, coming on Saturday and buying, instead of 300 grams, buying 2 kilos pasta. No? So
it's crazy how this all got out of hand, and I'm glad and happy to hear that it also was in your like benefit in a way. The whole situation with having to deal with the situation, did you, and you did, and that's why I'm asking, you starting to be a little bit more social in the sense of being more present on social media, right? How did you do that? I saw that you made little cooking videos, right?
yes, actually we started to work more on our social channels, doing more videos, doing more home cooking. We started to do more shootings and let people see what we do, no? Every day, because we produce pasta, but also we cook pasta, and also people can buy products in our online shop. So we started to play around a bit, no? And we also we started to sell. That's like something that we did like since last weekend. Boxes of mani pasta. So you buy boxes for 2 or 4 people. Inside you have like veggies. You have like pasta. I don't know, onion or parmigiano and sauce, and you have like a dinner at home.
That's super, super cool. I also have, funnily, because of one of the videos that I watched, which was green asparagus together with the pasta, I made it home. Also with the idea of using camembert to make a sauce with that.
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah, exactly. No, because people are at home. We thought, okay, because it's also very hard to understand how to cook properly fresh pasta. So we started to say, okay, people at home are cooking more. Let's teach them how to cook properly fresh pasta. So we started to do videos.
Perfect. And I have to say, I mean, watching at how everything changed and how things are happening, people started really, and that's the awesome bit that we get out of all of this, people started cooking more.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
obviously they were forced, but also because they just got excited about the idea to actually dive into this topic because they had the hands on their time.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And it's also
time on the
really
hands.
nice, no? You're at home, you're with your wife, girlfriend, with friends, no? So you are cooking and you are like enjoying.
That's really, really nice. You also, and I think that was a tricky topic for a while for us as a business, as like Cafe 9, as well as Isla, which is part of what I'm doing as well. We started thinking and discussing whether vouchers make sense. You guys also started offering vouchers, right? So that people would buy a coupon, a voucher, in order to then use it when things go back to normal. Did you do that? And
exactly.
did it work out?
We did for the restaurant. Exactly a week before the shutdown, we said, okay, let's try different way to work on it. So we organized also the coupons. We did like for a couple of months.
Okay.
People were buying, actually. We had like a month where people were buying a lot, I have to say. So thank you all for the support that you are giving us. Then slowly going to the normality.
Okay.
People are started to go out. So
yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm also addressing the topic of the vouchers is that we had the discussion whether it makes sense to hand out a voucher that sure gives the businesses money in that moment, but then again it also just pushes the situation a little bit back further,
exactly.
right?
It's postponed. Everything
Exactly.
is postponed. Yeah, true. That's true. But it's also, I don't know, it's also a way to let people, I don't know, support your project.
Absolutely, yeah.
And let your project sing in the future too.
No, but yeah, the way or the reason why I was so worried about this is the idea of the problem being postponed is literally leading to having to then worry and struggle basically when things are most important, because then it's getting back to normal.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
the moment where you also need the money, because then you got all your running costs, right?
Yeah, true.
So
totally true.
Yeah.
Totally true.
All right, but we stay alive, and we're also gonna get to the last couple of minutes with Lorenzo. So we're gonna play 1 or 2 more tracks, and then we're done with our session today with Lorenzo, which is awesomely already for an hour. So let's play.
Let's play.
Deep, deep talent, and we've lost the big one. Deep, deep talent, and we've lost the big one.
So that was the last track of Lorenzo for tonight's session. That was DVS1, which you said was the perfect kind of like ending for you to also say thank you to Berlin, because this defined Berlin for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like defining Berlin like a music scene with clubs, techno, enjoying,
Cool. Let's hope that we get to enjoy this very soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much again, dancing and enjoying the positive but dark vibes where we get to go to all of these clubs again. How do you want to end the session? What I always ask people is give us a shout out. Do you want to give us a shout out to someone, places to go to visit and support?
I want to support some friends, like I don't know, Sironi with like the new pizzeria that he opened. Let's say also a friend, also La Lucia, also Lodestein. So yeah, I want to support them like they support us. So.
Exactly, that's the idea. Thanks, Lorenzo, for supporting them. Thank you, Lorenzo, for being around us and making this city as delicious as it is.
Thank you, too.
Because that's the idea. We are NACL Radio. We're the salt in your ears, and Lorenzo and other businesses are the salt in your soup and or your dishes. Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us for this last 1.5 hours.
It was really nice talking to you and having like a really nice time. Thanks.
Awesome. Go visit Mani and Pasta, Markthalle 9, or also Reichenberger Straße. Thank you.